Hello.
People with chronic pain will tell you, the hardest part isn't the pain itself. It's the way the pain steals your joy. For years, my husband lived with pain.
Just kindly setting some intentions, reflecting on a new year, or reflecting on this year, actually. How are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments. How are you doing? I just got ink all over my hand. I decided to go live. I wasn't going to go live on Facebook, but I was like, you know what? Let me go live on Facebook because I don't really talk to y'all that much anymore. I've been reflecting a lot on this past year, and I know a lot of people were like, oh, 2020 was crap and stuff like that. But honestly, I truly believe that like there's so much power in your words. Your words have a lot of power, and I feel like people have been literally speaking into existence. Like the challenges. I feel like if you are, I feel like you got to be really careful about what you say. Your words have a lot of power, and like with people saying like, "Oh, 2020 was crap" and stuff like that, and then they're wondering why so much like they were experiencing so much chaos and so much bad stuff was happening. Like your words have power, so just got to be intentional about like what you're speaking and what you're saying because that can backfire. It can definitely come back to you. So just thinking about what this upcoming year is going to mean for you, you definitely want to make sure that you're speaking life into your goals, speaking life into the things that you want to do. I was reflecting, and I wrote a lot of stuff down. And one thing that I'm present to in this moment, and like maybe that's something for you guys to think about as well, about like what are you present to in this moment? How are you feeling? Currently in my body, I feel light. I feel so much gratitude. I feel like, even just looking around my place, I'm like, dang. I feel really grateful. I feel like my heart is really full, and I know that I'm loved. I know that I'm covered. I know that there are people out there that genuinely are rooting for me and genuinely want to see me do well and want to see me succeed. And I also noticed that like when I'm in my power and I'm clear about what it is that I want to do, whatever it is that I set my sights on, um, I literally blow myself away, and I'm literally amazed every single time. So, one thing that I would say, and this is something for you to write down as well, was to think about is what is something that you're most proud of this year. Um, One of the things that I'm very, very proud of is the fact that I was able to create a women's group specifically for women of color to have a sacred, safe space where we can just get together, have some tea time. And in my case, tea time is not like a bad thing where you just sit around and gossip. It's about like uplifting each other and really building each other up. And, being able to have fun and let your hair down and be your whole ass authentic self without worrying about if someone's going to judge you or if somebody's going to like look at you sideways and stuff like that. It really, really was about sisterhood. So I'm just really proud to be able to do that. And this was happening during a time where like the George Floyd stuff was going on, and like it was just a heavy time. So it really felt good for me to be able to, and the Breonna Taylor, it just really felt good for me to be able to hold space for them. Um, Another thing that I'm proud of, and I'm going to keep on saying that I'm proud of, is the fact that a year ago I said I was going to move out here to Oakland, and I actually put that into practice. So I'm really proud that I was able to step outside myself, really shock myself and prove to myself, like, hey, if you put your mind to it and you get out your way, then you can actually do whatever it is that you say you're going to do. So I'm really proud that I was able to move across the country in the whole last pandemic, when there were some people that were saying to me, like, oh, you're crazy. Like, you trying to move in a pandemic. Like, but like, if not now, then when? You know, a lot of people are waiting, and they're waiting for somebody. And I said this in my Instagram earlier. Like, there's some people that are waiting for other people to give them permission to be great. And you are already great. You already have all of the tools within you. So don't wait for nobody to give you permission. Just go out and do it. So, me moving across the country during the pandemic, being so far away from my family, being so far away from people who love me, was very scary. It was very confronting. It was uncertain. I really had to practice trusting not only myself, but trusting God, Spirit, the universe, to guide me, and trusting that I was going to be okay regardless. So that's really powerful for me. So I'm really proud of that. Um, Something else that you guys can reflect on is what is a time where you have won big time in 2020? Like, maybe there was a small goal that you hit. Because you got to celebrate them small wins too. Like, a lot of people think, oh, well, when I get to the big goal, then like that's when I'll celebrate. But like, even those small milestones, celebrate that along the way, because it is powerful and it's going to keep you pushing. It's going to keep you going, especially on those times where it's challenging and you don't know which way to go, and you're like feeling a little frustrated and stuff like that. So one thing that I said, that I wrote down and said that a time where I won big time this year is I had a huge breakthrough in self-trust, independence, and bravery. I truly feel like this was the year that I was brave. I feel like, we got exactly what we needed. 2020 was exactly what we needed, and that's not to like make light of the fact that we have lost a lot of people along the way. I don't want to be, I want to be clear. I'm not taking that in vain at all, but like, in terms of, I know for myself personally, I was always like going, 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 and I feel like 2020 gave me the chance to really pause and breathe and say, like, let me just sit with myself. Because a lot of times, and I've spoken to my friends about this, like, there has been times where like I had been just, it felt like I was just holding my breath. And I feel like 2020 really gave me the opportunity to just release and breathe and trust. And that for me was big. The independence piece, if you've known me, you know that like I prior to moving out here, I was living with my mom. Yeah, I was paying bills and stuff like that. We split everything because she got a mortgage. We split all the house bills and stuff like that. And on top of that, I was paying rent. But like, it's a different thing when you move out and you're on your own and you really got to figure stuff out and you don't know nobody, So that definitely gave me the opportunity to just prove to myself that I could do it. Prove to myself that I could stand on my own 2 feet. Prove to myself that, I can trust myself and trust in God to know that I was going to be okay, Something else for you guys to consider as you reflect is, what setbacks have you experienced this year? And shout out to my coach Casey, because she sent out some questions for me to really get reflecting, and I felt like, well, if I'm going to be doing this anyway, why not invite other people along so that they also can reflect in their own way as well. And so in terms of me for setbacks, I definitely almost talked myself out of my goals a million times. You get into that negative self-talk thing, that self-sabotage, and sometimes you can sabotage yourself without even realizing it, just by little stuff that I was doing. Like, for example, with me moving, like, the closer I would get, I felt like the closer I got to like moving time, that's when I started like spending money or going out, or stuff. It's money that I knew I needed to be saving. So like, just little things like that, just being aware of it and being aware of how like little things that you do, maybe it's like a pattern that you need to break, or maybe it is the way that you speak. Sometimes we don't realize that what we say has an impact. There's so much power in your words. So you want to make sure, if you guys are commenting, I can't see nothing. So you want to make sure that you're very intentional about what it is that you say. Because you can even say something as simple as, I'm lazy. But you don't realize that you're actually like blocking your blessings by saying stuff like that. Or like if somebody gives you a compliment, you're like, this whole thing, that's nothing. Like, we really, really be careful about how you're speaking about yourself and how you're speaking about your goals, because it definitely matters. Yeah. So something else for you guys to reflect on: what are the top 3 things that you've learned, whether it's about yourself or whether it's about like your journey and your path? What are the top 3 things that you've learned in 2020? For me, I said that the top 3 things that I've learned is, number 1, things don't go according to plan, and that's okay. Because it's something that I always say to people, is that every single thing around you is intentional. Everything around you is intentional. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. So even when things are not going your way and you feel like, dang, I'm being hit left and right, I'm struggling so much, like, there's something in that struggle, there's something in that challenge that is trying to teach you something. And the lesson will always, I can't stress this enough, the lesson will always repeat itself until you learn it. So sometimes, and sometimes, it'll start with like a subtle little nudge, like, hey, you're supposed to be learning something. And if you still don't get it, then it might be like a little shove, like, hey, you going through this, there's a lesson in this. And then there might be like a whole body slam, like, hey, I keep telling your ass you need to learn something and you're still not learning from it, until like it's going to keep on repeating. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to go from like subtle and then a gradual increase until you finally like fall on your ass. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you got to fall on your ass in order to realize that, hey, I keep making the same mistake. I keep falling in the same pattern. Maybe I need to adjust something. Maybe it's a mindset. Maybe it's the people that I'm surrounding myself with. Whatever. But there's some adjustment that needs to be made. Okay, so that was the first thing. Things don't always go according to plan, and that's okay. I kind of talked about this, my second lesson that I learned, but I said that life has a way of giving you exactly what you need, even in the difficult moments. So I just talked about that. Even in those difficult moments where it feels like, I don't know, I don't need to be learning about this because I ain't asked for this, you're getting exactly what you need. For example, me being out here, it was a struggle. Let me just, to say the least. Like, there were some times where I definitely had some challenges, and then I had to take a step back for a second. I was like, you know what? Even though like this hurts and it feels really hard and it feels really difficult and it feels like I can't see a way out, this is exactly what I asked for. I asked for the opportunity to be independent. I asked for the opportunity to learn how to trust. I asked for the opportunity to um, learn how to ask for support because that's something that was big for me. I asked for the opportunity to learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. I asked for the opportunity to be able to figure things out, not from a place of like, oh, it's me and only me, but from a place of like, how can I tap into the tools that I already have so that I can get creative in in figuring things out. And that's pretty badass. That's just to like be able to step outside of yourself, zoom in on whatever. I got so much ink on my hands. Zoom in on the challenge that you're facing, but look at it objectively instead of subjectively, like, oh, this is happening to me. Like, this is actually happening for me. And now that I know and I can identify and really look at things from another perspective, I can get creative and find different solutions. Now you got more ease in your life. Now you got more grace. Now all of a sudden things are shifting in your favor, and you're like, I can do this. I can get out of my own way. I can overcome anything because at the end of the day, I know that I'm covered. I know that I'm protected. I know that there are people that are on my side that want to support me, that want to see me do well, that want to see me elevate to another level. So definitely that was a big lesson for me. Life is giving you exactly what you need, even in those moments where you can't even see the way out, where it feels like, dang, I'm just being hit left and right. Yeah. And then the definitely third thing that I learned, you won't die by asking for support. This one was huge, especially for me. I'm gonna tell you guys a story, right? So when I was trying to generate income, and I was a little short, so I needed a little extra funds, and my sibling said, "Well, why don't you ask Daddy?" Now, if you know me, me and my father, our relationship has been a little different. A little different. Like I was a daddy's girl when I was younger, and then had some daddy issues with him. Angry with him for years. Took me a while to forgive him and stuff like that. So our relationship is definitely getting better, but me having to go and ask him for something when I wasn't used to asking for anything, when I was used to saying, I don't need you, I got this, I can do this on my own. Listen, I was literally shaking, y'all. I was in tears, like boo-hoo, bawling, crying tears because I had to go and ask that man for support. And you know what? It turned out it wasn't even as bad as I thought it would be. Honestly, like I went to him and he was like, "Yeah, sure." He was happy. He was like excited for me, and like I'm so glad that I was able to like get out of my own way and do that because that was like really hard for me. And like just throughout this year, like I've really practiced. Sorry, I got my window open. Excuse me, I'm about to say what. Um, I I really had to practice asking for support. And as you ask for support, like it gets easier. And like, what's the worst thing somebody can say? No. Okay. What you can't hear? No. So like, just don't not be afraid to ask for support because there genuinely are people out there that want to see you win and want to see you do well. Um. Okay. So something else for you guys to reflect on. What are you grieving? Is there anything from this year that you are grieving? Or what do you need to grieve before you move on? So for me, there were some people that I've had to let go of just because I realized that me keeping them around was not serving me. You're not really my friend. You really don't have my best interests at heart. Um, and I had to be okay with that. Um, there was also a love interest that I had to let go of because it wasn't going anywhere. And so I just really had to grieve the loss of people that I thought were going to be my forever people. Like, what the hell? They got fireworks going on this New Year's Eve. Y'all know I grew up in the hood. I'm thinking it's gunshots, it's fireworks. All right. But I'm grieving that. I'm also grieving the old Ashley because sometimes you get attached to how you used to be. But you know what? I'm also nurturing my inner child. I found lately, a lot more lately, that I am just affirming my inner child, apologizing for, and like really being a stand for my inner child, and like really just giving her the love and the support and the guidance that she needed. So, what are you grieving? So that's something to think about. And then, who do you need to forgive? So as you're doing your reflecting, think about who is it that you need to forgive, and for what? For me, I needed to forgive myself. I've forgiven other people. I've forgiven my father. I've forgiven, my mom. I needed to forgive myself. And so what I wrote down is I forgive myself for sleeping on my own greatness all these years. Sometimes we stand in our own way because we don't believe that we can achieve great things. But who's telling us that? Who says that you can't achieve great things? So is there a person that you need to forgive? Is there a situation that you need to forgive? Or is it yourself that you need to forgive? And really, really work to release that. And now, along with that, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to just leave behind in 2020 and beyond, in the past years, so that you can really move forward powerfully, really stand in your power and go after whatever it is that you want wholeheartedly. So for me, I said that I am letting go of old patterns, people, thoughts, and beliefs that no longer serve me. I am acknowledging that my boundaries and my inner peace is sacred. I am so protective of my peace. Like, I am so protective of my boundaries. Anything that threatens that, I'm like, oh no. Even down to like work, like at my new job. And I'm grateful for my new job because they definitely they prioritize like self-care and stuff like that. But I let my managers and them know, like, I have a boundary. My laptop closes at 5 o'clock. So if you send me an email, or if you call me on my work phone, or if you and I don't do work during my lunch break. We have an hour lunch. I don't do work during that time. So if you try and set a meeting with me at 12, can't do it. That's my lunch break. Here are the times that I'm available. So just making sure that in whatever you do in life, in love, in family, make sure that you are honoring your heart and your boundaries, because it's important and it's sacred. What are you committing to in this new year? So that's the next reflection question. In the new year and beyond, it doesn't just have to be for 2021. What are you committing to? So here are a few things that I'm committing to, and I want to say it publicly so that you guys can hold me accountable. Cool? One thing I'm committing to. I wrote a book. I don't know if y'all remember. I wrote a book last year December 30th, 20, no, actually, yeah, last year, I wrote a book. And I have been delaying the editing process. So I'm committing to publishing my book this year, or this upcoming year, 2021. So you know what? I didn't write this down, but while I'm on live, I'm gonna go ahead and make a declaration. I'm declaring that I will have my book published by August 13th, 2021. I'm gonna write that down too. See, sometimes you gotta get bold with your declarations. So August 13th, 2021, I will publish my book. The name of my book is Girl Snap Out of It, and it's about empowering and equipping women with the tools to get out of their own way, let go of toxic relationships, and take back their power and own their badassery. So, hold me accountable, guys. August 13th, 2021, I will publish my book called Girl Snap Out of It. All right? I already owe a few people a signed copy anyway. And you know what? Maybe I'll do like a virtual book reading. I can read a few chapters of it, or maybe not the whole chapter, but maybe like the book intro and stuff. And we talk about stuff like that. That'll be fun. Okay, so I'm also committing to generating more traction to my podcast. So if you love podcasts, definitely check out She Is Magic. That's available on all podcast streaming platforms. She Is Magic Podcast. I'm committing to doubling my membership in my women's group, Tea Time, a Sacred Sister Circle. So if you are a woman of color looking for a sacred, safe space to connect with like-minded women and really generate sisterhood, definitely reach out to me with that. And on the train of like-mindedness, I'm also committed to connecting with like-minded, high vibrational people in the Bay Area where I live, and also exploring this beautiful state. California is so beautiful. I gotta show y'all sunset one day. It is like so beautiful out here. I'm committing to being seen via video content and going live more. So here I am out of my comfort zone, live, talking to y'all. I'm also committing to generating more clients in my coaching practice. I am a life coach, and I have been a life coach for the past 4 years. And, I'm looking to take on new clients and really support them in going after their goals and getting out of their own way, because I am living proof that it's possible. I have the training. I'm a coach who receives coaching, and I definitely want to support some people with creating a life of fulfillment, generating more joy in their life, because you deserve to have joy. And last but not least, this is a hard one for me, but I am committing to saying yes to being loved. I haven't brought anyone home in like 10 years to meet my family. So I'm definitely committing to allowing myself to be loved and be vulnerable and all that good stuff, because sometimes feelings for me, I'm like, yeah, feelings suck. I ain't even gonna lie. I feel like 2020 was the year of bravery. I was brave in so many different ways, and honestly, 2021 is going to be the year of homecoming. And by homecoming, I mean coming back into myself and really, really, I've created a home within myself, and it feels so good. But I'm just I'm generating more of that feeling, and like just continue to love up on myself, and that's gonna show in a lot of ways. It might show up in me trying to be a little sexy and like tapping into my sensuality. That might show up in, I don't know. It's just gonna show up in so many different ways. So I'm excited about that. What will you commit to in 2021 and beyond? Because it ain't just about 1 year. It's about beyond. And What what will 2021 be for you? The year of what? Let me know in the comments. So I said 2021 would be the year of homecoming. What would 2021 be the year of for you? What would that be the year of for you? I'm actually going to be posting the audio to this on my podcast because I feel like sometimes it's nice, especially around this time, to really marry both of my babies. So like I love creating video content, but I also enjoy the podcast. So that's it. And before we close out, if you have a sheet of paper or something like that, I definitely want you guys to take a moment to write out all of the things that you're letting go of. So just take a moment to do that. So I'm going to write out my stuff too. What are you releasing? Are you releasing a person? Are you releasing a feeling? Maybe like you felt really crappy this year and you want to release that energy. Write it all out. Maybe it's a job that you feel like, man, this job is shitty. I'm going to find me a new job. Or maybe you want to create something else and you want to start a business or something. What are you releasing that no longer serves you? I just felt that energetically as I'm writing this stuff out. I'm like, sometimes you don't realize when you're holding on to stuff until you actually write it out. So sometimes it's good to write stuff out. I don't know if you guys journal or anything like that, but for me, journaling is really powerful and empowering for me. So just find something that works for you. So once you're done writing out the things that you're letting go of, I want you guys to go get a bowl. I don't need nobody burning down their house, okay? So get you a bowl. And I want you to set that paper on fire. Set it on fire. Let it burn. We don't have time to hold on to anything that no longer serves us. And I want you to really stay present and remember that, like, if you said you're going to let go of this stuff, really let it go. Really be done with it. Right? So I got my bowl because I don't need to be, but I just got this apartment. I just moved in like, 2 months ago? So yeah, let it burn. Release it. It don't serve you no more. It's done with. Maybe it was some challenges this year that was like, that really puts you in like a crazy space. Let it go. Release it. It doesn't serve you anymore. So I got my bowl because I ain't trying to, like I said, I ain't trying to burn my house down. I got renter's insurance, but still. Let it burn. Let it burn. Like, like I should say, let it burn, let it burn. Gotta let it burn. All right. I love you guys so much. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and setting intentions with me. Let me just take this moment to just speak some life into you. You are powerful. You are magnetic. You are beautiful. You can do anything you set your mind to. There is nothing out there that you cannot achieve. There's nothing that you cannot achieve. There is no challenge that's greater than the greatness that you have within you. So continue to prosper, continue to push forward, continue to know that you are amazing and you can do anything you set your mind to. Even on those days where it feels hard, even on those days where it feels like there is no end in sight, I want you to continue to stay present to your greatness. I want you to continue to stay present to the fact that you are covered, that you got your ancestors behind you, that you got all of these things pushing you, and that you have people on your side that are cheering you on and rooting for you every step of the way. And if you don't have nobody rooting for you every step of the way, I'm rooting for you every step of the way. So you have somebody. Okay? Love you guys. Have an amazing night. Stay safe. Social distance. Don't be all up in nobody's faces. And here's to 2021. Bye, guys.